Hey, what's going on everyone? Wally here, and today I have got some Slime Rancher content for you. So for those of you who were on my channel from the get-go, you've probably seen quite a bit of Slime Rancher gameplay. I actually did a first playthrough on it. Now that I understand how the game works though, for others who are interested in the game or new to the game and are looking for some helpful insight, I have actually got 8 helpful tips for any new players of Slime Rancher. Now, of course, some of you more veterans player may have some more intense tips or even some feedback to add. If you do, please leave it down in the comments. But for those of you rookies out there, or for those of you looking for some more tips, I'm actually going to show you here pretty much how to get started in Slime Rancher. So first and foremost, you're going to run out here and you'll run into the dry reef. That, of course, will be your land or your ranch, and of course, you can explore it. Like I said, I'm really not going to doing a playthrough though, more of just some tips. So as you run out of here, you'll see all these vegetables, these pink slimes, and these carrots. We're actually not looking to go through and grab all of this, and I'll explain why. So we are going to grab the pink slimes first and foremost, and I'll help you understand why. So when you first start, you will encounter probably 3 or 4 different species of slimes. Now what I want to do here actually is I'm going to grab these vegetables. And pink slimes will eat anything, so you can grab vegetables, you can grab fruits, etc. And I'm going to feed this fella. I'm going to shoot it in his mouth, feed this guy, feed that guy. And this here is plort. So basically when they drop the plort, it literally is just them eating, well, their food and, well, pooping some stuff out, alright guys? So we have fed all these guys now. So I don't want to mix them up, so I'm going to throw this guy on the back here. Eventually you will be doing all of your harvesting in your ranch, but until we have got everything we need in order to do that, we're actually going to just be feeding them out in the wild here. And I will explain that once we get back to the ranch here, why we're doing that. We're going to try and feed them all. Really, the goal here is just to collect as much plort as possible. Let's see. Cool, I think we might get one more here. Right on. So when you first start the game, you'll actually only start being able to hold 20 of the same type of items, so that's going to be the pink plort. So once I continue to feed the rest of these pink slimes over here, I will let you guys know. Alright guys, so we have finished farming the pink plort from our pink slime friends here, so we're actually going to grab a few more of these fellas. We're probably going to grab 10. I typically grab anywhere from 10 to 15 per corral, for the purposes of not having them completely run and jump out, and understanding what a corral is. I'm going to show you here. So we collect the pink plort here, and I'm going to show you a little bit more. We're going to look for if we can see if we can find a blue slime over here. This guy, the rock slime. So we're gonna suck this fella up because he's going to be the next best slime to grab. So you of course can grab the tabby slime. I don't recommend it. You can also grab a bright blue slime that comes out at night called the phosphorus slime. Now, when it comes to harvesting the slimes, guys, pink should always be first because they will eat anything and everything. The rock slime should always be next because they will eat vegetables. But the tabby slimes, they eat meat, which is a lot harder to come by. You have to actually venture out to grab some chickens until you can grow them later in the game. And then the phosphorus slimes are actually just expensive to corral early on. So you don't want to go through and grab those. Your best bet's going to be pink slimes and then rock slimes here. We've actually already filled up on the pink plort. I don't think that there is any other... No, I don't see any other rock slimes here, guys. So we are going to head on back to the ranch, and I'm going to show you basically how to get started here. Alright guys, we are back here at the ranch. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to shoot our little pink friends into the corral. So corrals actually are what's going to allow you to keep your slimes in a specific area. We're going to build a new one here so we can actually host our rock slime friend here, which is right over here. And we'll keep him in there. Now you can go through and mix the slimes. You can mix pink with rock. You can mix any slime you want to together. But here's another tip for you guys. Never mix more than 2 types of slime. And that is a pretty rookie tip because any adventured slime rancher will know when you do go out in the wild or even in your farm at times, if these fellas eat another's plort, they will become a giant one here. So I will show you, well, I'll feed this guy and I'll show you. Hold on. So munch on that carrot. Perfect. So give me some rock slime. Now you have to be careful with the rock slimes because they will of course run into you and hurt you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this guy a rock plort. When you feed it to him, he becomes a big friendly one. Well, not friendly, but he becomes a very big one here. Sorry buddy, I need you to get out of here for the video. Oh no. He is very, very sad. If you guys ever have slimes you need to get rid of, you can throw them off the cliff and commit some very deadly sins. Or you can keep them in the corral. So that's what happens when you mix two together. When you mix a third one together, they actually become the tar slime, and the tar slime will eat any slime, and every slime it will also eat you. So make sure you do not create the tar slime. Now, why you want to gather these plorts before you do anything else is because the plort gives you this currency here. This currency is known as new bucks. The new bucks is what allows you to purchase the corral you just saw here, as well as other types of building materials. So I want to feed the carrots to these guys here. Hopefully they're hungry enough to give me some plort. And if they are, they're not. So I'm going to run out and grab some more pink plort, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to buy next here, guys. Alright guys, we are back here at the ranch. I've actually gathered some more pink plort, so we're going to go through and fill this guy up here. And you'll notice that we have 360 new bucks. Now what I wanted to show you here, so you notice we've got two different corrals. We've got the corral with the pink guys and the corral with the blue guys here. Now we of course can make a bunch of upgrades. However, early on when they're smaller like this, it's not really a requirement. Investing into high walls or even the plort collectors definitely is beneficial and time consuming. However, the first thing I recommend you invest into is a garden here. So I'm going to walk on over here, I'm going to activate, and I'm going to create a garden which also costs 250 new bucks. So the very first thing you should do is make sure you've got the corrals for the slimes that you want. The second thing you're going to want to buy is a garden. So the garden essentially allows you to take a fruit or vegetable and you will go through and just shoot it into here. Now, I honestly believe the carrot should be the first thing that you grow, or any sort of vegetable that you find along the way. The carrot just happens to be the first one that you will ever find, and of course there are upgrades that will make it grow faster and grow more. Now the reason you want to invest in the carrot first is because, like I said earlier, these guys will eat anything and everything. This fella here will only eat vegetables. The carrot is not his favorite food, the heartbeat is. However, the carrot will be very easy to come by early on, and you can at least just use this one garden to supply both these corrals with food. Now, if you grab the tabby slime, like I mentioned earlier, you'll need to get a bunch of chickens, which is just time consuming and not worth it early on. You might randomly find them running around, but it's not worth it. And then the phosphorus slimes do like fruit, but in order to get the phosphorus slimes, you either need to unlock the grotto over there, or you actually need to go through and buy the solar shield, which is another 425 V-Bucks here. And you'll notice the investment here for that is 20, whereas the rock slimes are worth 21. And they typically are around the same, unless of course you've given them quite a bit of this, then the currency will go down. So I highly recommend you get the rock slime after you get the pink slime, and then you purchase or build a garden with the carrots. Now, I want to talk about the currency board here, but I won't do it in this video. I think that's a little bit more of an advanced tip than a starting tip. But I just highly recommend, like I mentioned, you want to go through and you've got to build the corrals. You want to go through, you want to invest in a garden. And then when it comes to plort collecting, always use your first trip out into the dry reef to do the plort collecting. You really don't need to pick up anything else. If you are going to pick up some other things, pick up your pink slimes and pick up some carrots. Other than that, you can just save that fourth slot for any other random plort you may find. Again, I'm going to recap here on harvesting the slimes. Always get the pink ones first because they'll eat anything. The rock slime should definitely be next because they're going to be the easiest feed and the most beneficial slime to growing your ranch at an efficient speed. Never ever mix more than two types of slimes or you'll create the tar slime. Now if that is what you are looking to do, then by all means go for it, but as a newbie and a beginner, I don't recommend it. Now what I didn't talk about here, guys, a pretty final tip here is that this here is your vacuum upgrades. I highly recommend after you've built these two corrals and you have built a garden that you invest into this jetpack here. There will be a lot of different areas where you explore that will have different ravines or bridges or gaps, and if you have the jetpack early, you can fully explore those areas and quickly navigate all of the areas with ease and not have to backtrack or revisit those areas. Your key to progressing through this story is your ranch expansion. Its growth and looking and feeding the Gordo slimes. Now, if you just grow your ranch and eventually you will find some Gordo slimes, you actually saw him a little bit earlier here. He was all the way down here to the left. This was a first Gordo slime here. I will get right over to him ASAP, guys. I'm sorry. I actually should have showed this to you a little bit earlier. And that is this pink fella down here. This will be the very first one you ever encounter. I'm not going to go down there, but you can see he is big, he's fat, and he is very noticeable from a distance here. So that is going to be tip number 7. Just make sure you grow your ranch, and that is how you will progress through the story. The more new bucks you have, the more corrals and different structures you have built, the faster you will grow. And then the final tip here is this board right here. Now, after a few days of harvesting and growing, you will actually start to see things pop up here. You'll get some mail about it in your house back here. And these things that pop up will actually be missions. Now, these missions are going to go through and grant you some pretty nice rewards early on. They're going to grant you new bucks, they're going to grant you new resources, and later on they will eventually allow you to unlock new areas. Alright guys, well those are my top 8 tips for a new player or just a beginner in Slime Rancher. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please leave a like, leave your feedback down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say if you're new to the game or even if you're a veteran to the game. Subscribe for more if you're not already, and I will catch y'all later.